Here we are, we're finally back. It's that time again in the hot and humid Nagoya, Japan, in the Aichi Prefecture, home of Legoland, Japan, but also of this month's Grand Sumo Tournament. This is Sumo Rant, and I'm your nameless commenter, and we have tons to talk about today on this episode, our preview of the Nagoya basho. So let's go ahead, let's dive right into everything. I think we need to start off right away talking about our two Yokozuna. Hoshoryu and Onosato have both said that they are healthy and they are competing. Both have missed the past two tournaments. I know Hoshoryu was in the past tournament and had an unlucky break after day one, pulled his hamstring, and Onosato has been out for his shoulder that's been nagging him for quite a while now. Let's start with Hoshoryu. Hoshoryu had that hamstring injury. It's been, I guess, about 8 weeks now. So that fits right on the timetable with how long a hamstring might need to rest and to be healthy. It does raise some questions about whether or not he has trained and is in top condition for this tournament. I don't know how you could do that with a hurt hamstring and how you balance that. Hoshoryu had a quote where he said, "I'm okay." He said, I'm good, I'm ready, I'm going to compete, and that's certainly awesome to hear. His Ayokata didn't sound so sure. His quote, and I can't remember off the top of my head, he didn't sound as convinced as Hoshoryu was. I really hope he is. I'm really missing the Yokozunas right now, and yeah, I'm a Hoshoryu guy. So I do hope he's healthy, but the timetable and his health and condition is something to wonder about. Onosato has been out the past two as well. He sat out the entire last tournament. He has a left rotator cuff injury. Sounds like he's ready to go. I think there's been a lot of questions about, does the shoulder need surgery? He hasn't gotten surgery on it. I think he's been trying to fight through it. He's young, he's strong. I think he was trying to kind of push through and use his other physical capabilities, and hopefully the shoulder would heal. And I think it just finally got to the point where he couldn't take it anymore and decided to go ahead and just sit out a tournament. So he's had a while to let that shoulder rest and to heal. So I'm cautiously optimistic that he's also ready to go. I think his conditioning is also something we should probably wonder about. But supposedly he practiced with Kotozakura a few days ago. So he chose a big boy. He chose somebody with some weight. And I would bet he probably threw his shoulder into it. To see where his condition's at, where his shoulder is at. And he said he's good to go. So as of right now, and fingers crossed, we will have both Yokozuna in Nagoya. We will have both Yokozuna, and that's something we haven't really been able to say since I don't know. It feels like for the longest time, both the Yokozuna have been hurt or something has been happening where they just slip up and they can't get the Yusho. And Hoshoryu especially, I know it's probably been very disappointing for him that he hasn't gotten a Yusho victory as a Yokozuna yet. Onosato showed us a lot of promise, showed us that he could be that dominant Yokozuna, but then injuries also took hold, and it just sucks. It sucks for them, it sucks for the fans of sumo, and I don't think we can blame them for this. Like, injuries happen, right? And the sumo schedule is grueling. So here we are. They're back. Hopefully they're back and they're healthy and we can make it through 15 days of Nagoya. That is my wish. I would love to see that happen. All right, Kirishima went 12-3 last tournament. I believe he got the June Yusho. And word on the street is, from the Yokozuna committee, If he can get at least 13 wins, if he can get 13 wins or a Yusho victory, he will be our next Yokozuna. I have a lot of thoughts and opinions about this. Um, this we're called Sumo Rant, so I'm allowed to have some polarizing opinions here because that's kind of the point of all of this. I'm I don't know if I like that. And I'm going to talk myself in circles here, and you'll see when we wrap up everything at the end of this episode. I'm going to talk myself into circles here. I just don't know if I like this whole idea of, well, he's had four in a row where he's won 11 or more. He went 11-4, 11-4, 12-3, and 12-3 now. And in any other timeline, yeah, I think a Yokozuna promotion is there for him. But something in the back of my head, like if I don't think about it rationally, I'm kind of like, is this for real? Because a lot of those tournaments and his Yusho victories, they've come with Hoshoryu and Onosato hurt or not in the tournament. Ionishiki was hurt and then out the last two. And so when we look at, Kirishima, he's being dominant. Who was going to stop him? Who was it? Because as far as I can see, there was nobody on the Bansuke that was going to stop him. And then knowing that on the sideline, there are three guys who would probably very easily take 3 victories away from him, it just doesn't feel as good. Like I'm looking at this, I'm like, yeah, he's been consistent. But would we say that Kirishima is dominant? That he's showing some dominance here? That if we promote him to Yokozuna, is he going to be a dominant Yokozuna? And I don't know. And there was a lot of questions about whether Hoshoryu even deserved to be promoted to Yokozuna. And I don't really want to get into that. But if Kirishima gets that promotion Yokozuna, and he goes up there and we see a bunch of more, I don't want to call it mediocrity, but not what we think of the classic Yokozuna look like Terra no Fuji looked like. I mean, what are we doing here? And so, I don't know. I think Kirishima has looked really great. I think he's wrestled really hard. I think he has deserved all of his wins. There's also something in the back of my head that is just kind of like, I'm it's not fair, but I want to see him get a Yusho victory. I want to see him have 2 tournaments in a row of 11-12 wins with Hoshoryu, with Onosato, with Ionishiki healthy. That's what I want to see. And maybe it's not fair, but if we even just look at last tournament, Waka Takakage, who is always flirting with an Ozeki promotion, was able to steal that Yusho from him, beat him in the playoff. And if this were Hoshoryu, everybody would have been losing their minds about this. But because it's Kirishima and we're kind of desperate for some sort of consistency from our top wrestlers, I think everyone's kind of like, oh, that's fine, yeah. Get 12 wins and or 13 wins, and you could be Yokozuna. That's just kind of my thoughts on this. I think I'm a little harsh right now. But if he does get his 13 wins, if he does win the Yusho, and he gets promoted to Yokozuna, I'm not going to say anything about it because that's awesome. We have 3 Yokozuna now. That is cool. If he doesn't and he stays in Ozeki, I think that's awesome too, right? I don't want to come off like I'm a hater. But I don't know. I think it's just kind of that state of sumo altogether. I want to see some real hard fought wins and victories, and I feel like sometimes these promotions are getting a little rushed, just a little rushed. So on to Ionishiki. Ionishiki was Kadoban, so he lost his position as Ozeki. It looks like he had like a fractured left pinky toe, maybe, and I'm I'm sure that's really difficult to wrestle. You can't be a sumo wrestler with a fractured foot. So he lost his rank of Ozeki. For him though, if he can get 10 wins, he'll be re-promoted to Ozeki, and he can start fresh on his a brand new Yokozuna run, hopefully with everybody healthy, as I just got done kind of talking about. For me, I say cash it in. Cash it in. Ionishiki will get his 10 wins, and he will be an Ozeki next tournament. That's going to be my prediction. Bank on it. It's going to happen. When we look at Ionishiki and we talk about everything he's done so far, ever since he has become a Sekitori, he has always had a winning record. And not just a winning record, 10 wins in every single tournament except for those last two. The one when he was Kyujo and he didn't wrestle in, and the other one where he tried to push through with the fractured pinky toe to try for that Yokozuna promotion. Those are the only two that he didn't get 10 wins in. So when I'm looking forward and we're hearing Ionishiki's healthy and his camp has been kind of quiet. I don't know if a lot of news has come out of there or if I just kind of missed it. I'm assuming he's healthy. I bet he's healthy. I know that even though he knew he was going to lose his Ozeki position, he still held an Ozeki promotion party for himself. So I would say he's very confident. And I really believe he'll just go ahead and he's gonna get those 10 wins any way he can. So that's where I kind of stand with Aonishiki. I think we talked about it 2 or 3 episodes ago. I guess it was back in January when he lost, and the question was Aonishiki figured out? And I think we kind of talked about it a little bit, where I think he needs a bigger toolbox. His toolbox isn't quite big enough, and I think that was kind of part of what happened to him in January. But I also think having a fractured foot, and now that we know that there was a fractured foot, that changes a lot of things. I still hope to see him come back and add a few more things to his toolbox. But I think even if he isn't quite there yet, I think 10 wins is something we can definitely count on for him. All right, our Yusho champion from last tournament, Wakataka Kage, is out. Something really scary happened to him this last week and a half, 2 weeks. He was diagnosed with compartment syndrome. So I'm not a doctor, but it says that compartment syndrome is a condition where basically there is dangerously high pressure built up in your enclosed muscle compartments. And Wakataka Kage had this in his left thigh. It sounds like he was practicing and started having some pain, and he was going to the doctors. They said that he was even hospitalized at one point, and I think they finally kind of figured this out, and he went into emergency surgery. So that means it was acute compartment syndrome, where it's a medical emergency. So he went into emergency surgery. They operated on it, and it sounds like there are many more operations to come. To me, this is really scary, and I think we have to think beyond just the wrestler here, just as a person. I really hope he's doing okay. This has got to be a scary moment for him and his family. Like, I can't imagine. But on the wrestling side, like I'm a Wakataka Kage guy. Like he's probably my favorite wrestler. Like my favorite wrestler out of everybody. And this is kind of, man, it's scary and it sucks. I always look forward to watching him wrestle, and then this happens, and I just hope that he will be healthy again someday, and he'll be able to walk again someday. And forget about sumo wrestling just for a little bit. Just think about the guy as a person. But he's been through so much. I bet if he can wrestle again, he certainly will. And I hope that I wish him a healthy and speedy recovery. That's what I hope for. All right, let's look at our what to watch. So, at Sekewake, one more time, we have Atami Fuji and Koto Shoho. Last tournament, they both went 9-6. They both kind of held their own. I wouldn't say it was super impressive, but they held their spots, okay? And you know, we can say what we want to say about that. The fact is, it's a 9-6 when both Yokozuna were out. When one dominant Ozeki, who was going on a Yokozuna run, was out, and they both got 9-6. What's going to happen this tournament? What are they going to do? Last tournament, I said this is a prove it moment for them, and I don't. 9-6 is awesome, right? That's good, but I struggle with saying that they proved it. I think they still have so much more that they need to prove here. Koto Shoho's Ayokata is out very publicly stating that he believes Koto Shoho can be the Yokozuna, could get an Ozeki promotion here. And I yeah, I think there is that potential there. I think when you look at his size and his body and how strong and fast he is, absolutely. But he still is yet to take that next step. And I think the same can be said about Atami Fuji. He is young. There is so much potential. There is so much potential. And when you look at like past tournaments, you know, it's small things like he steps out on his own without really kind of being pushed. Just when you think he might turn the angle, he forgets where he is in the dojo and he steps out. And it's small things like that where if he could cut that part out of his game, all of a sudden we're talking about an 11-4 Atami Fuji and not a 9-6 Atami Fuji. So there's so much potential there as well. And I'm sure he's also looking forward to an Ozeki run also. So last tournament, I said this is a prove it moment. This tournament, this is really seriously a do or die prove it moment. Both Yokozuna are healthy. Aonishiki's back. Kirishima's going for a Yokozuna promotion. There's a lot of people that have stuff to prove here. And Atami Fuji and Koto Shoho are going to have to prove it. All right, Yoshino Fuji, who is promoted up to Kamusubi, went 11-4 last tournament from Megashira 2. I think we got to ask the question, is he ready for a breakout? I think he's been overshadowed quite a bit by Aonishiki. He's kind of been forgotten. And maybe it's because he's had some middling performances. Last tournaments, he's gone 8-7, 9-6, 8-7, and 7-8. You know, and so he's been middle of the pack. He hasn't really been contending for the Yusho. I think he always starts off really, really hot. Like the first week of the basho, he looks great. And then he kind of drops off towards the end when he has to start wrestling people competing for the Yusho. And that's probably part of the problem. But he is still a top prospect in sumo. He is still a very talented sumo wrestler. And every single basho, he's getting that experience and getting ready for that moment to break out and to star. And he's one that I want to watch once again. I know I probably pick him quite a bit. You can certainly tell sometimes I have some favorites I want to talk about a lot. And Yoshino Fuji is one of those guys, though. For me, like, I see it. I think it's there. I think he has some growing to do, and I think we're right on the cusp of him finally breaking out. He's at Komusubi right now. I think he's on that cusp of really being a part of that top group that is constantly pushing for a Yusho, and I'm looking forward to that. All right, Fuji Ryoga went 10-5 last tournament from Megashira 17. He's been promoted all the way up to Megashira 9 now. I'm a huge fan. I'll be honest with you guys. I'm a huge fan. I think he's primed for success. Is my judgment clouded a little bit? Maybe, but he's exciting. He's fun. And so he debuts 2 basho ago. He has a make koshe. He should have been demoted to Juryo, and he isn't. They give him a second chance at Megashira 17. He takes advantage of it. 10-5, up to Megashira 9. It's going to be a challenge for him now. Okay? At Megashira 9, we're looking at he's going to have to compete with Roga, Takeyasu, Koto Eho, who is another guy that's maybe primed for a breakout here soon. So he's gonna have to fight, and there's a lot of vets here. Asanoyama, Chiyoshoma. There's a lot of Shodai. There's another one. Guys with some real wrestling experience, and we're gonna see how quickly Fujiroga can kind of grow up and can stay within himself and his technique and continue to win. But he's one, like, I think he gets another Kashikoshi. He keeps moving up this Bansuke. Um, like I wouldn't be shocked. I think he's going to be a guy that for years down the road we are going to talk about as a top wrestler. And so I'm watching him. I want to see what he can do now that he's kind of up there in that mid level of the Bansuke. And I want to see if he can continue to push forward and keep winning. I think he can. He starts off with Roga this tournament, so he will start off with Roga, and I think that's a great way to start. What can he do with a strong veteran guy who is usually kind of in that upper middle part of the Bansuke? What can Fujiroga do with that? And I'm looking forward to it. I think he's going to do well. We have the return of Takeru Fuji at Megashira 13 and Onokatsu at Megashira 15. So Takeru Fuji has been out out from the top division for almost a full year. He tore his bicep last year in 2025 at Nagoya, and he sat out the tournament immediately after. And since then, he's had 4 tournaments in Juryo, and he's had 4 Kashikoshis in Juryo. So he's was slowly working his way back up. I watched him a little bit when he was in Juryo, as many of you probably also did. He didn't look himself, but I mean, when you come back after tearing your bicep, I think it's kind of like you hear injuries of like the Achilles or the ACL, and you're not really sure if you can trust that muscle or that ligament again. And I'm sure that's probably what he's been fighting through. And so it did take him 4 tournaments to kind of get back to this top spot, but he's always been a guy that he's sneaky. He's at the top of the Bansuke a lot, and he's always one you're just kind of like, he could pop off and win the Yusho. He really could. And so I'm glad to see him back because he adds more to the Bansuke now, more to these matches going on. There's not a lot of, what's the word for it? Maybe soft filler matches where you're just kind of like, now there's some real competition. There's some real competition all the way throughout the Bansuke, and so I'm glad Takeru Fuji is back. Onokatsu's back after 1 tournament in Juryo. He hurt his ankle 2 tournaments ago, and unfortunately he had to drop out, so that dropped him down to Juryo. He got a 9-6 record, so he is back up into the top division at Megashira 15. I just wanted to mention him because I do kind of like him. I think he was on the rise. He's another young guy. It feels like he's been around for a while, but he's another really young wrestler. I think there's a lot of potential there as well. I think he's another wrestler that throws a wrench into everything, right? When you look at the Bansuke, Kim Bozan, Shishi, Asakuryu, Nishiki Fuji, all of a sudden they're having to wrestle Takeru Fuji, Onokatsu. Like I said, there's no filler matches here. There's no random Juryo guy being called up, and now, you have maybe what you might think could be an automatic win. You don't, because Onokatsu, Takeru Fuji, they're not pushovers. It's not just going to be a pushover match. So glad to see them back. Glad to see them add more to this competition, this tournament. Lastly, for our what to watch, Kazuma has arrived. One of Sumo's top prospects is finally here in the top division. He is debuting at Megashira 15. This is a really interesting and exciting prospect. Do we still call him a prospect? I don't know. Glad he's finally here. Just some interesting facts for you guys. He has a winning record in every single tournament he's ever competed in professional sumo. He has titles at Jonokuchi, Santaname, Makushita, and Juryo. And just so you know, hold on, one more fun fact for you guys. He has 44 wins in 61 matches. Okay? And just so we're all clear, he debuted 2 years ago in Nagoya 2024. Yeah, that's how fast he has skyrocketed up the ranks of sumo, and he probably could have done it quicker because he was injured after his debut and he sat out, I believe, 2 tournaments. So, when we talk about, a shooting star, somebody that is rocketing up the ranks, like Kazuma's one of those guys, and I'm excited to see what he does. I don't know if he will show up and he's just gonna ball out and be a top guy right away. Probably not, but it's fun. It's fun to see him up here. He's another guy that's gonna add competition, and I think we'll see, because he's gonna have to wrestle, like we talked about, Takara Fuji, Onokatsu, Asahakiru, right? Waka no shows up there, Mitake Umi. Like, he's gonna have to wrestle guys who have some talent, who have some veteran knowledge, and we'll see what that looks like. Because I think one of the bad things, the cons of being a guy that rockets through these ranks, is they don't ever get a moment to wrestle people with experience. They just kind of go fast, and they just kind of get through all of these ranks really quickly, and all of a sudden it's like, hey, I'm here, I'm at the top. And once you get to the top, talent and talent alone isn't good enough. There's gonna have to be some mental aspect to it as well, and I think we saw that with Fuji Ryoga his first time. Like, the lights may have been a little bright, and I don't know if that's gonna happen with Kazuma or not. But he's here. I'm excited for it. I'm a fan, and I think we should watch him, because I would not be shocked if he were to kind of get a double digit not Yusho, but a double digit record this tournament. I think that would be really fun to see, and I think it's entirely possible for him to do that. So, Kazuma's here. I'm excited. All right, let's get into our winners, our losers, and my bold prediction. As I told you at the top of the podcast, I will talk myself in circles around Kirishima. I am not. I don't think. I wish that this was a different circumstance for Kirishima's promotion to Yokozuna if it happens. That's what I'm kind of saying. I wish I had seen him, get more victories with some bigger names. But that doesn't take away from the fact that he has been the most consistent wrestler in all of Grand Sumo recently. He has a Kashikoshe of 11 wins or more in the past 4 basho. Okay? Plain and simple. There's no way around this. He is going for that Yokozuna promotion. He has been consistent. Our 2 Yokozuna at the top haven't wrestled at full health in a long, long time. We haven't seen them in 2 tournaments. So I would be crazy not to choose the winner to be Kirishima. Like, I think he has probably one of the best chances of winning this tournament. So my winner, Kirishima. I just think that he's been the most consistent. He's going to absolutely just ball out, get his Yokozuna promotion, and be a winner. My loser of this tournament is going to be Shishi. He is at Megashira 14. His last 3 records was 6-9 at Megashira 12, 6-9 at Megashira 11, and then 9-6 at Megashira 14. I think there's too many healthy people in the Bansuke now for Shishi to be able to slide by. Like I've already talked about, there's no filler matches here anymore. There are no filler matches. Shishi is going to have to wrestle Kazuma, Takara Fuji, Onokatsu, Nishiki Fuji, Waka no Sho. He's going to have to. And I don't think he's going to be able to slide by as easily as he has in the past. So, unfortunately, I don't see Shishi with a Kachikoshi. And I kind of feel like he'll be down in Juryo sooner rather than later. My bold prediction, and this one I had to think about for a little bit. It would have been too easy to say my bold prediction is Io Nishiki, or my bold prediction is Ono Sato comes back and wins the tournament. That's too easy. My bold prediction this tournament is Yoshino Fuji will win the Yusho. That's my bold prediction. Okay, 11-4 last tournament. He got a special prize, I believe. Here's the bigger thing. He starts off with Ono Sato this tournament. Yoshino Fuji has 3 Kinboshi. He has 3 gold stars. 2 of them have come against Ono Sato. So, when I say Yoshino Fuji is primed for a breakout tournament, I think this could be it. And this is a good time to prove it too. When everyone's back and healthy, and this Bansuke is looking filled with top wrestlers, this is it for Yoshino Fuji. I'm excited for it, and I look to see him have a breakout tournament. Why not? So he's my bold prediction. So this Bansuke was tough, and that's a good one. There's so many questions, and there's so many good wrestlers that are in this Bansuke once again, and that's what makes this podcast so much fun is to be able to rant about this kind of stuff, no matter how ridiculous I might turn out to be with my predictions or my opinions or whatever it is. But this should be a competitive tournament, and I'm looking forward to it. This is going to be so much fun. Sumo is fun. But we're looking at this. This could be our first tournament back where everyone is going to be healthy. Like, mostly everyone is going to be healthy. We have some top prospects in the ranks. We have some older guys who have been in the top and dropped down to injuries are back. Like, from top to bottom, I see good wrestlers. And I see some great matches coming up. And you never know. You never know in this era of sumo what might happen. Kirishima has absolutely been the most, consistent wrestler in the last, past half year, right? But a Waka Takakage still showed up and stole a Yusho from him in the playoff. So that's what makes sumo fun. It's unpredictable. You never know what's coming for you. And I think this tournament is going to be like that. It's going to be fun. I think we're going to see some shocking people on the top in that Yusho race. We might not be shocked who wins the Yusho, but I think we might be shocked with the people that are at that top. And you know what? Here's to a playoff. A playoff would be fun. How about a playoff with Kirishima and Yoshino Fuji? Throw Io Nishiki in it as well. Throw it in. Let's make a 3-way playoff, right? No, 4-way. Let's make it a 4-way playoff. Add Ono Sato in there as well. Okay? All right, thanks for listening, everybody. If you could, please like this video. Comment if you would. Who do you think's going to win this Yusho? Do you have any bold predictions? Go ahead and put that in the comments for me. That'd be cool to hear and communicate with you guys as well. Check in about 2 weeks at the end of this basho for my wrap up video. Until then, happy tournament, guys.